Well, hey there, YouTube. It's Petey Two Finger, and today I wanted to talk about mushroom products. So we have mushroom gummies and we have mushroom chocolate bar. So, quickly, the majority of the mushroom gummies that are on the market, they will not list their active ingredient. So, in order for us to define or figure out what's in it, we have to go by taking it ourselves or word of mouth or reading a review. I've never bought any of this stuff. I never went to a store and paid my credit card to buy a shroom product, but they're selling this stuff out there. And what I've come to learn is the majority of it, well, they don't like saying what's in it. Okay, they don't like talking about. They're just like, oh, it's you'll have a wonderful experience. Enjoy your trip. And then when you find out, especially if they're talking about an Amanita muscaria, okay, Amanita muscaria is, it's not a good mushroom, and it's not when you buy shrooms from your drug dealer, they're called uh, psilocybe cubensis, or they're called, maybe you get really lucky and you get some Panolia cyanescens. The old shaman, the witch doctors that work with the stuff, those guys didn't like working with cubensis because it gave a lot of people bad trips. There's other mushrooms that have less of the weird side effects. Like if you just eat a bunch of shrooms, you'll be like pooping diarrhea and you might throw up, and then you're like tripping, and if that, going into it off of that, or having horrible stomach pains, So there's people that they'll tell you to powderize it, grind your shrooms, and then you put it in lemon juice, and it'll extract, and then you just drink the tea. Throw away the actual body of the fruit, but that's called a mushroom tea, and that'll leave you with all the effect. It actually hits you quicker, and lasts. It's more of a like all at once and intense, and it doesn't get your tummy and doesn't make you poop sick either. Um, and that's cubensis, psilocybe cubensis. People can freak out. They can have bad trips. Now there's all different varieties within the strain. But there's one mushroom called a Panolia cyanescens, and this is not really well known. It was discovered in the 90s, and it's real tiny. They kind of look like light gray or light flying saucers. They're really small. When you dry them, the stem is about as thin as a human hair, so they're tiny. But those things, never a bad trip. It's all just love, pure energy from the universe giving you a hug. There's no bad side effects. It's just all of the good and none of the bad. And people don't know about it. People still are, growing cubensis. So when we talk about psychedelic mushrooms, we never talking about Amanita muscarias. Okay, this is the white shroom with the red head, and it's got white spots. It's like what they imagine Santa Claus from that, and all these religious stuff. It's in Mario Brothers, the red mushroom. That's the Amanita muscaria, and like they would say, the reindeers up there eat these mushrooms, and they get all goofy off of them. And then the locals would collect the reindeer urine and drink that because it already was converted into psilocin or whatever, and or now here there is no psilocybe in that fruit. So whatever drinking the pee like filtered it, and it made it so you wouldn't get as much of the negative side effects of getting sick and all that, because the Amanita muscaria was not ever the mushroom that was known to be like the trippy mushroom. It does have effects, It's usually used for healing or like psychological stuff, and it's not the trippy mushroom. No, like never. That's the sick. I got to go to the emergency room. Amanita muscaria is not good, and that's they've extracted something. They're calling it muscaria, and that's what's in these most of the shroom gummies on the market. The active ingredient, if you could find out what it is, I'll just say it's muscaria, and you have to have a lot of that. Like you would have to, like 15 to 30 grams for you to have an effect. So, and you get sick off of it before you can get in trouble with tripping too much. You're going to go to the emergency room because you can't stop pooping yourself. So, as far as the shroom gummies, the variety of them out there are really wasteful, and you're going to get your hopes up. And this is all going to affect you then if you do down the road get a hold of some cubensis, you're more likely to have a bad trip just because you went through all that. You know, we got to really have a lot of intent and be smart about this. This sacred medicine, it's nothing to play around with. Now, the chocolate bars, they sell these mushroom chocolate bars. Those you will trip off of those. You'll have a legitimate trip. But I mean, and I don't want to generalize. You may end up getting a chocolate bar that's got the Amanita muscaria in it. It depends, but these more like illegal or gray area ones that where you get them in tolerant areas. These shroom chocolate bars, I heard they're putting synthetic shrooms. So this is ACO4-DMT. That's the name of this chemical. That's synthetic shrooms. And people love it. If you get pure, the problem is it's not made and tested the FDA or anything. It's just, and like for a history lesson, Stanley Owlsley is the famous LSD chef from San Francisco who cooked for the Grateful Dead. He cooked for the whole West Coast. His acid went all the way across the country to New York. His acid was unbelievable. Like he made the orange sunshine that people still talk about, and the reason it was so good when you took it was because it was so pure. And people said the reason Owsley's acid was so good was because it was made with love. And what did that mean? Well, he spent all this extra time doing all these extra steps, cleaning it. He would run through these extra processes to remove all of the byproducts that it was made with. So when you got it, it was just LSD, nothing else. And there's not many chefs who have that kind of dedication. And if we're talking about a clandestine drug lab in China that's just sending just making artificial shrooms just out of a chemistry book, just making it, and it's not supposed to be used on humans, you can get sick, you can get poisoned. And they've tested this stuff and they've found this to be a fact. So we got to be careful when it comes to 4-ACO-DMT. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I guess you would need to have it tested. I wouldn't want to go first. Now, if they're putting it in chocolate, how come they're not putting it in gummies? Well, maybe they are. Maybe they are. If you hear about some gummies that you eat them and they send you to Mars, that's probably what's going on. Now, there is the Treehouse, TRE-HOUSE. This is a brand of psychedelic gummy, and those were tested, and there wasn't any ACO-DMT in it, but there is a lot of funky stuff including Mimosa hostilis root bark. So on this package, it didn't give them much information. These guys said they took it and um, they got so messed up off of it that at one point they went to listen to some music, and after 2 songs, they had to bail on the music. They couldn't handle it, it was too intense. So these guys took this tree house, and each gummy has 22.5 milligrams of a proprietary nootropic mushroom blend. It's called the proprietary liposomal blend. There's no Amanita in these. On Treehouse's website, it says the liposomal blend includes 5-HTP, which I have no idea what that is. Rhodiola, Rhodiola rosea, lion's mane, which is a weird type of mushroom, Mimosa hostilis root, phenylethylamine hydrochloride, cyanocobalamin B12, and cholecalciferol. Now, Mimosa hostilis root is a powerful psychedelic in it called DMT. Some Redditors seem to believe this is causing the trip in Treehouse's gummies. Others have suggested that the gummies have 4-ACO-DMT in them. However, lab reports provided on the company's website show no detectable presence of DMT or 4-ACO-DMT in the gummies. So it's like these guys from the Dallas Observer, that's what I'm reading from, they did a couple articles, and they had tried the Amanita ones, which did nothing. And they would dip their toe, they would take a little, and then they would take some time in between, and they would take a bunch, and they ended up taking a significant amount of this, and they thought maybe they felt something, and they also had some unpleasant side effects. So the Amanita ones, don't waste your time. And then you have these treehouse ones that supposedly later on they went back and ate those, and they did affect them. And those supposedly have Mimosa hostilis root bark in them, but see, that doesn't make any sense, because they would have to have an unbelievable amount of root bark in there for that to work. Trust me, I know. And the DMT has no way to get into your system through your stomach wall unless you take another chemical, which enables, and it's not listed in here. So I don't understand how that works. I would almost go out on a limb and say they goofed on the website and it's just got 4-ACO-DMT in it. But the long and the short of it is, if you're watching this video and you're just chomping at the bit to experience this, your day will come. This stuff kicks your ass. So don't be in too big of a hurry to get knocked down. And if it's 2024 and you're just chomping at the bit to have a psychedelic experience, but your only option is some Amanita muscaria gummy that you're going to have to send away for, you're going to have to get your mom's credit card and order these gummies. It's not your time yet. Your time will come, and it'll happen when it happens. Just approach with caution. Start low and aim high. Have intent behind it. You have everything planned out. Number one, you have to be outdoors. Number two, you have to have sitters. Number three, you should never mix weed or anything with it. Never redose. Always wait. And I would say if you get a hold of some and you don't know what to do a lemon tech. Do a half gram. Make a lemon tea and drink that, and you'll be set. You'll dip your feet in the water and find out what it's like, and experience it enough to get you through for about a 2 or 3 hour experience with a 3 hour afterglow. And it won't do anything to make you want to harm yourself or others or traumatize you. A half a gram is, people say take 5 grams. No, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. I'd like to know what he was getting, how bad they were, the quality of them, because the stuff that goes around, half a gram. Anyway, you guys, be careful. The more information that you have, the more you're going to prevent yourself from just it's just a mental thing. You don't want to get all caught up in this fake toxic stuff when you could eventually experience this properly with a lot of preparation and respect for the experience, and plan it out and have something really pleasant. Or you go into it, you're real frustrated after getting burned a bunch of times, and then you finally run into the real thing and you overdo it and ended up just ruining that experience for the rest of your life. You say, I never want to do that again. So this stuff, it can be very powerful medicine for self-introspection and divining what's wrong with you, to see past your own flaws where your blinders normally go up and you're not able to see where you're screwing yourself. That's the best application for this medicine, and it heals you. I stopped drinking last year, which is amazing, and it was directly related to an experience that I had. So when I see this greed and this ignorance and all these people in the comments section, I read their comments, it makes me sad and it makes me angry. So let's just not go to the convenience store, the gas station, or the CBD shop for our plant medicine. Can we do that? Anyway, you guys, be smart, be safe. I always like to say hug your pets. That's the most important thing.